Reptile. It's a new Netflix film that stars Benicio del Toro, Justin Timberlake, Alicia Silverstone, Eric Bogosian, Michael Pitt, and Francis Fisher. And it's directed by a guy who does a lot of music videos. And this is his feature debut. So, you can already pick up what I'm dropping, I think. It has audio description. It's written by Dakota Green, narrated by Frankie Corso, and produced by the team at International Digital Center. So shout out to those guys. It's obviously just exactly what I thought it was. It's the origin story for Reptile from the Mortal Kombat series. This is what they covertly, like they Cloverfield paradoxed us. They're launching a Mortal Kombat franchise, and they started with Reptile, and this is his origin story. I lied, but wouldn't that movie be way more awesome than this? Wouldn't that movie just be way more interesting than if Benicio del Toro was playing Reptile for Mortal Kombat instead of Tom? He plays Tom. He's a cop, maybe with a past, who's been thrown into this investigation. We, at the top of the story, we get to meet Justin Timberlake, who's a realtor. He has an exciting job in this movie. And he has a wife, and sadly, his wife is brutally murdered. And that sets these detectives on edge. They are trying to figure out who would jam a knife into this woman's head. Is it Justin Timberlake? Is it someone else? Are there witnesses? Is everybody inept? What's up with Del Toro's past? What's up with his wife, Alicia Silverstone? What's up with all these characters? Why haven't we seen Michael Pitt since Boardwalk Empire? Feels like it, doesn't it? So many questions to be asked in this 2-hour and 15-minute runtime. This is one of those films that critics, we as a group, we have secret meetings. Nobody else tells you that, but we have secret underground there's a lair that we have where we get together and we like to use buzz phrases on certain films, and we like to get together and we all decide that we're going to say things like slow burn. We're gonna call this one a slow burn. We're gonna give it a pass and say, oh, it's okay that you feel the runtime the entire time, because this one's a slow burn. It's I don't know what that means to the average person out there. I just hear slow, and it is slow. Does it burn? Not really. I heard some positive things, and I listened to a couple reviews from some of the critics that I bothered to listen to, and they kind of generally like this. They were like, I mean, not like, oh my god, this is the best film I've ever seen, but they were like, yeah, it was worth it, and I had some nice twists and turns and some stuff I didn't see coming. The funny thing was, I think I overhyped myself, because I thought we were headed in a very different direction. For a while there, the film almost wants to play itself smarter than it ever is going to be. Like it's very reminiscent of a certain Scorsese movie at certain points, where I was like, are we going there? Is that what this is doing? Is there a parallel here? Am I not seeing what I'm seeing? So I was trying to pay attention to that aspect of it to see how that was working, because I was starting to question a lot of the choices that were being made in terms of, why are we focusing so much on Del Toro? Why is Justin Timberlake's character kind of being pushed aside? It's very much a Del Toro film. and everybody else around him is sort of supporting, especially like Alicia Silverstone. I don't. It's really hard to figure out who has second billing here, because it just sort of is like everybody else. It's more about this cop and like the stuff that he's gone through in the past. Is his past relevant here? How does he bring his past into this case? What's up with this case? Is it as cut and dry as it seems to be? Is it as complicated as it seems to be at times? It's all just kind of asking questions. It's a lot of questions. It feels very slow, though. And it doesn't necessarily end up getting the payoff at the end. I thought Del Toro, it's hard to sit there and say this was a great performance from Del Toro. It was a competent performance from Del Toro. He's doing exactly what you would expect from Benicio del Toro. But let's be honest, it's Benicio del Toro. This man has turned in some fantastic work in the past. This film does not allow him the ability to do that. For a film that's directed by somebody who has been doing nothing but music videos his entire career, I expected a film that had a little bit more of a beat and a flow to it, and had a little bit more excitement, a little bit more style, a little bit more flair, pizzazz. The film doesn't have any of that. It's just kind of a film that feels like it was out in a film market and Netflix picked it up and they were like, yeah, well, it's got some names in it. That it does. I was quite intrigued to see Alicia Silverstone doing a dramatic role. Actually, I was quite intrigued to see Alicia Silverstone acting. I feel like she doesn't do enough of that anymore. Last thing I remember her doing was like a talk show where she was trying to tell people that she feeds her children by like bird feeding them, like a mom, where she pre-chews the food. And look it up. It's out there. It's on the internet. Anyway, but that's the last thing I literally, I don't know what else she's been doing. And so the fact that she was in this and it was a dramatic role, I was really excited. I was like, wow, let's see what she brings to this. And then I was like, I don't know if she was even needed. I question her relevance to the plot. Like how big her role really needed to be, how much she really offered to the film. Justin Timberlake's character is it's just another performance from Timberlake proving that he is an actor. Like, he can do dramatic work, but it's not his best performance. I really liked him in Palmer. It's a little film on Apple Plus that I feel like nobody's seen, but he's actually really pretty good in it. He's been good in some other things too. The Social Network, he's really good in that. So this is whatever. He's playing the typical, like, did he do it? Was it the boyfriend? So it's that kind of role for him. The rest of the cast is just like, they're just people who float in and around the plot. I don't know. It just isn't exciting. I can't tell you. Like, I got to the end of the film and I was like, and I got to the twist and I was like, wait a minute. So it's not going to be the more interesting thing. It's just this. This is what this is. We've been building to this. All right, fine. Is it a terrible ending? No, but when you start having more faith in the director to be able to pull off something that's really cool and maybe sort of like groundbreaking for your day. This is his debut film, right? This is the film that this guy is making his stamp with. This is how he sets himself apart and gets his next gig and is able to direct another feature. A lot of people have directed, indies and stuff that have led to much bigger things. They get handed something that wasn't a very big film, and suddenly Colin Trevorrow is a thing. Well, he's a thing because the film he did before that, Safety Not Guaranteed, was good. Gareth Edwards is another person that he's got film out right now called The Creator. It's a perfect example of a person who really used everything at his disposal for his first film and has rightfully earned his ability to make films like The Creator. This guy, I don't know what I would let him direct episodes of NCIS, I guess. I don't even know. Like, I really just, the style, the substance, it's all kind of just very, very generic. It's even sort of comically so. There's a point at the end of the film where Del Toro sort of wraps things up. We'll say that. We'll call it that, right? Wraps things up. And immediately, the tone of the film shifts. And it's like, I can't remember the song that played, but it's like the film is so dark, and it's just like dark music and dark soundtrack and everything, and it immediately brightens. They find like a brighter pop song to play, you know, let the sun shine. That's kind of what it felt like. It was just like, oh, what is happening? Why the sudden change in music? It's like, I can breathe again, this whole thing's behind me. Like, I was great. I'm glad that we needed a giant music cue here and a shift in change of, by including a pop song to throw in at the end here to indicate to the audience that everything is all good. It's all gravy from here on out. Thank you for your heavy-handed direction. But for a guy that's directed music videos, you would think that his choice of where to put them would be more interesting, but it's, again, sadly not. There are so many things in this film where it just feels like I've seen it done better before. That there are just directors who do things like this better. I can't even imagine what David Fincher would have done with this film. You know? It's just such a wonder to think about stuff like that. It's not terrible. It's just, you'll end up thinking it's going somewhere and it's going to get more exciting than it actually ever does. I don't know, because you want something out of it, but it does. It feels so slow. I felt like I was in this movie forever. Just a lifetime spent in Reptile. I will say that the audio description was good. Not to knock Dakota Green and Frankie Corzo, but there was one moment that was hilarious to me. It was unintentionally so, and it was more because of the direction of the choices that the director was making, that also just lined up with something that the narrators had to do. The narrators had to say. There was one point in the film where you get like this loud, where they're sitting in a scene, right, and they've just sort of dropped a truth bomb on you, and then you hear like this boom, just like one of those sound effects, you know, that's just sort of, it's not a gunshot, it's just like a drop, like a drop. And then the narration came in with darkness. And I just giggled. It was just the way that it was done was so, and it seemed like we just kind of sat there for a second before picking up the scene again. It was just like, boom, darkness. Tom, then, you know, it's just like, all right then, cool. Good choices. This guy makes good choices. Anyway, the narration's fine. It's just, it created an unintentionally hilarious moment by lining up this moment of darkness with this sound effect. Anyway, I find things like that to be silly. This is not a film I would jump up and down about recommending. It does have a good cast, and I think they all gave good performances, so I'll say that. It is slow as ever loving hell, and I thought it was going to go someplace it didn't go. It does kind of twist and turn, and I'm not going to say the ending that you get is bad. I'm just going to say that I overshot the ending, and I was like, oh man, I foresee, like, I foresaw an ending that was just, I was like giving this guy way too much credit, and then he gave me this ending, and I was like, I mean, I guess, okay, I see it. Thank you. But you could have gone here, you know. I don't know why you didn't, but anyway. So take that for what you will, but it's, you will feel the runtime. There's no way that you're gonna sit in this film and be like, wow, that 2 hours and 15 minutes just went by. Always look out for those words. Slow burn means you will feel the runtime. The question, though, is whether or not the payoff makes it worthwhile. And that is why sometimes slow burns can work. It's not always a bad thing. Here, it's debatable. I'm going to give Reptile a C+. Anyway, that's that review done and over with. So, thank you for watching. Please click that subscribe button because I'm hungry and haven't eaten in days. And I also have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can go to X, Threads, or Instagram and follow me at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org where you can look up Frankie Corzo and see what else she has narrated other than this film. You can probably also look at Dakota Green and see what other scripts that she's written before. So get all up in that, and I will watch something else and see you on the other side.